Skinner!
Skinner?
I'm Skinner.
Seymour?
Mother!
Welcome to Watch Mojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the TV moments that changed our perceptions of a character for the worst. Warning, major spoilers to come.
You mentioned Dexter. He comes up in these sessions a lot. Aren't you curious as to why that is?
He's a huge part of my life.
Number 20, Nate betrays Ted. Ted Lasso. We really didn't see this coming. Nate Shelley was an assistant coach and Ted's friend, one of the sweetest characters in the show. By the end of season 3, however, he has leaked Ted's panic attacks to the press and taken a job at the rival West Ham United. What happened? We're just as shocked as you are. This wholesome show's turn for the not-so-wholesome has been a mixed bag, to say the least. No doubt the show is attempting a villain redemption arc, but its penchant of putting significant plot beats off-screen ruins much of this arc's efficacy. Either way, we will never look at Nate the same way again.
I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
Number 19, It Was Dan All Along, Gossip Girl.
Wait, this is about Gossip Girl.
It's yours to publish in The Spectator. I know you gave up your search to help Serena. Now you have all your answers.
The mystery of this anonymous blog writer was the heart of this iconic teen show. This writer was seemingly omniscient, posting scandalous details of the cast's love triumphs, entanglements, and doldrums of our main cast and beyond. When the show finally revealed that Dan Humphrey was behind the blog, fans were divided. While Dan has the writing skills required for the role, a lot of Gossip Girl's actions go against his motivation and open major plot holes. It doesn't help matters either when the show's creators confess that they initially planned to make Serena's younger brother Eric Gossip Girl and even flirted with choosing Nate. Either way, Dan is forever tainted by Gossip Girl's cruelty and opportunism. Some mysteries are better left unsolved.
Within weeks, I was getting dozens of emails with stories about Upper East Siders, so I posted them anonymously. And then, I got more.
Number 18, Alex leaves Joe for Izzy, Grey's Anatomy.
I love you. Maybe it's not fair to say that, but it's true. It's also true is I'm in love with Izzy.
How could they do Alex so dirty like this? Well, to its credit, Grey's Anatomy had little choice in the matter. When Justin Chambers suddenly left the show, his character, Alex Karev, necessarily had to depart as well. But breaking up with his partner Joe and confessing his love for Izzy Stevens via a letter, of all ways, was not the way to do it. Alex had experienced tremendous growth throughout the show, his rough and gruff exterior eventually revealing a heart of gold. To see him leave the show in this way was polarizing for fans, to say the least. Officially, the worst thing he's ever done. Indeed.
I'm sorry. You deserve more than a letter.
Number 17, Archie's plea deal, Riverdale.
Instead of prison, time served plus 2 years in juvenile detention if Mr. Andrews will plead guilty to the crime of manslaughter.
Granted, this show is infamous for its bonkers plot lines and character arcs, so should we really be surprised? But boy next door Archie pleading guilty of first-degree murder when he is not takes the cake for the most bizarre incident, including when Archie literally gets attacked by a bear. Framed for the murder of Cassidy by Hiram, Archie's decision to take a plea deal and go to a juvenile detention center for 2 years was wild, especially since Archie got a hung jury. He could have gone free if it weren't for the showrunner's eagerness for a Shawshank Redemption-style storyline. Archie's golden retriever personality took a turn towards the dumber side.
Yes, Your Honor, I'm guilty.
Mr. Andrews, the court accepts your plea of guilty. You'll be taken directly from the courthouse to the Leopold and Loeb Juvenile Detention Center.
Number 16, Mr. Krabs preys on Plankton's fear, SpongeBob SquarePants.
How'd you fail this time?
Krabs had a whale!
You mean his big, bad, scary teenage daughter?
I hear that mocking tone in your voice, Karen, and I don't appreciate it.
Animated shows are often known for their zany humor, but even cartoons should have a limit. In this infamous episode, it is discovered that Plankton is afraid of whales, as his entire family had been eaten by them. As a joke, Mr. Krabs disguises himself as his whale daughter Pearl and terrorizes him throughout town for 2 weeks. This harassment culminates in Plankton lying down in the middle of the road. Only when SpongeBob tells him that Mr. Krabs is afraid of clowns that Plankton gets a taste for life back again and plots revenge. Mr. Krabs' refusal to back off makes this icky episode even worse. If Mr. Krabs is capable of such a thing, What isn't he capable of?
That should keep her out.
I want plankton meat!
Number 15. Will blackmails Finn. Glee.
I suddenly realized why I had wanted to do this thing in the first place.
What I started fighting for.
It was seeing the gift in a kid that they didn't even know they had.
Has there been any TV teacher more problematic than Will Schuester? Well, there is his weird comment on how his students are all minorities simply for being in the Glee Club. Oh, and there was also that moment when Will suspends Marley. But by far the most egregious act was his first one, Will blackmailing quarterback Finn into joining the Glee Club. How? He plants marijuana in his locker room. Why? Will heard Finn sing in the shower and decided he must have this talent at all costs. Will's character just gets worse from there, making him perhaps one of the worst teachers in television history.
What I did then was the blackest moment of my life.
Number 14. Debbie gets pregnant on purpose. Shameless.
So it's positive.
So we're pregnant?
Would you like to discuss your options going forward?
No, thank you. We're having this baby.
The working-class Gallagher family, headed by its troubled patriarch, has its fair share of truly messed-up members. Not Debbie, though. Debbie is the kind-hearted third-youngest daughter, grounded and mature for her age, even running a daycare center. But as the seasons went on, Debbie's character took a turn for the impulsive, immature, and self-destructive. One of her most baffling actions was to get pregnant, on purpose, by her boyfriend Derek, lying to him that she was protected. This causes an angry Derek to cut out all contact with Debbie and move in with his grandparents, leaving Debbie as a struggling single mother. What a horrible series of bad decisions by the one character we thought was sensible.
You're not pregnant. I'm not.
Number 13. Todd shoots a kid for no reason. Breaking Bad.
Damn, you guys thought of everything.
When someone starts to look up to Walter White of all characters, you know there's going to be nothing but trouble. Todd Alquist worked for Walt and Jesse as a fellow meth cook, even helping Walt and Jesse pull off a major heist. At the end of this episode, right after they stole meth from a train, Walt, Jesse, and Todd see a boy on a dirt bike, waving at them. Todd waves back and shoots him. Until this moment, we never thought Todd would be capable of such ruthlessness. Of course, Todd goes on to do many more horrible things. It goes to show the extreme lengths to which some people would go to prove themselves. No! Number 12. Allison almost assaults Luther, The Umbrella Academy.
Allison, please. Don't do this.
I heard a rumor. You want me.
Able to compel people with the phrase, "I heard a rumor," Allison had always struggled with the ethical ramification of her powers, hiding and even refusing to use them. So this use of her powers against her adopted brother, Luther, is particularly egregious. Granted, Allison does change her mind in time, but the fact that she even contemplated forcing herself on Luther, much less began the compulsion, is beyond horrific. Allison's use of her powers of suggestion crosses many lines, before and after this moment, but this one must take the cake. Number 11. Rory drops out of Yale. Gilmore Girls.
I've decided that I'm not going back to Yale next year.
I'm sorry, I don't think I heard you correctly.
Remember when Rory used to be the diligent and responsible Gilmore? She dreamed of attending Harvard. Her role model was Christiana Monpour, for crying out loud. But it isn't long before Rory begins to make increasingly questionable decisions. A big one that raised many eyebrows was Rory sleeping with her ex-dean, who's now married to a fellow schoolmate. But perhaps even more of a character break is when Rory steals a yacht. After she gets arrested, she decides to drop out of Yale entirely. From Harvard dreaming to dropping out of Yale is a steep fall, leaving fans bewildered and frustrated with the drastic turn this character took.
I mean, my daughter never gets into trouble, except, now. But on the whole, the kid is an angel.
Number 10. Andy sails away. The Office.
I was kind of sad at first, but then I remembered that Bob Marley song. No woman, no cry.
Granted, Andy has never been the most popular character in this series. His first introduction established him as a bit of a sleazeball with anger management issues. Throughout the seasons, though, he did grow and become more interesting, particularly through his love entanglements with Erin. Season 9, however, had him reverting to his selfish Season 3 characterization. He sails off to the Bahamas, leaving a neglected Erin behind. Andy eventually pursues his acting dream with the help of a talent agent, Carla. Undoing all that character work for the last season of the show is a pitfall a lot of shows fall into. Too bad The Office was one of them.
Check this out. Keeps my hair out of my stare. Also helps me combat the glare bear. That's what I call the sun now.
Number 9. Meg embraces martyrdom. Family Guy.
Brian, you can't say this family doesn't treat me like crap.
Don't answer her, Brian. She's just setting you up.
I think Meg and Lois are right.
Well, it's one or the other, Brian.
There may be no character done more dirty by a show than Meg. Soon becoming the Griffin families and the show's scapegoat, Meg has been on the receiving end of some major mistreatment and cruelty. So when she does a Ned Flanders and finally confronts her family on their abuse while they are riding out a hurricane, it is nothing less than cathartic. But when the family turns against each other, Meg decides to apologize for her true remarks, believing this family needs someone to pile on all their dysfunction, and that someone should be her. It's a terrible decision, not in the least because it makes Meg choose her role as the family punching bag willingly.
Do you think it's possible that this family can't survive without some sort of lightning rod to absorb all the dysfunction?
Well, it's a theory, I guess.
Number 8. Love Quinn's death. You.
Wolfsbane, a paralytic.
No.
It slows the heart. So I Googled antidotes. Turns out I needed biohacking, adrenaline. And who doesn't have that around here, right?
It can be argued that love and death are the two universal themes of all drama. But what happens when you kill love? In Season 2, serial killer Joe meets his match in Love Quinn, a fellow killer who would go to extreme lengths for the one she loves. Joe is hypocritically appalled by Love, but marries her when she falls pregnant with her child. When Love finds out about Joe's latest obsession and prepares to kill him, Joe gets there first. Accepting Love would have been a great opportunity for character growth. As it is, it only cements Joe's status as yet another boring creep.
It had to be enough. I had to finally stop you.
Number 7. Andrea sleeps with the governor. The Walking Dead.
Could have walked out. You started walking out. But you stayed.
Why did this show do Andrea so dirty? A former civil rights attorney, Andrea began as a strong and sharp shooter with great aim, but her character took a distinct turn from her arc in the comics. In Season 3, separated from Rick's group with her friend Michonne, Andrea abets and even falls for the villainous governor, who leads a town of survivors called Woodbury. Although Michonne bails out, Andrea stays in Woodbury. Worst of all, she sleeps with the governor. Even after the governor attacks the prison, Andrea is unable to kill him, and she's finally captured by him. That the show would turn Andrea into this love-struck apologist is nothing less than criminal. For many fans, it ruined her character for good.
I lied when I said I was off the clock. This is a 24/7 kind of gig.
Number 6. Spike assaults Buffy. Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
I'm gonna make you feel it.
There are bad boys, and then there's just bad. Initially planned as a one-and-done villain along with his sire Drusilla, Spike's popularity among fans made him a recurring character. Eventually, he becomes Buffy and the Scooby Gang's most reliable ally. He even falls in love with Buffy, entering a passionate, tumultuous relationship with her that garnered its own passionate fanbase. Unfortunately, that relationship turns violent on both sides, especially as Buffy struggles with her depression. Worst of all, in response to Buffy's jealousy over his drunken advances towards Anya, Spike attacks and almost forces himself on Buffy. He leaves Sunnydale after that and endeavors to get his soul back, but such an inexcusable act will definitely haunt us.
Ask me again why I could never love you.
Buffy, my God, I didn't...
Because I stopped you.
Number 5. Seymour Skinner is an impostor. The Simpsons.
It's true, I'm an imposter.
This controversial episode really made us look at Seymour Skinner differently. This Season 9 episode reveals that Principal Skinner is in fact an imposter. His real name was Armin Tamzarian, a juvenile delinquent turned soldier who befriended the real Skinner, a sergeant fighting in the Vietnam War. When Agnes mistook Armin for her supposedly dead son Seymour, Armin decided to keep up the deception, which worked until the real Skinner returned. Eventually, the people of Springfield realized they prefer Armin Skinner to the real deal and welcome him back. The decision to retcon Skinner's backstory was decried as cheap. The revelation of a beloved character being a mere fraud is also a hard pill to swallow.
The adaptable citizens of Springfield have opened their hearts to Principal Seymour Skinner, who... not that one.
Number 4. Ted goes back to Robin. How I Met Your Mother.
You made us sit down and listen to the story about how you met Mom. Yet Mom is hardly in the story. No. This is a story about how you're totally in love with Aunt Robin.
Decried as one of the worst finales in all of TV, this show also made us change our perception of Ted Mosby for good. Ted's tale of how he met his children's mother included his tumultuous relationship with Robin Scherbatsky. After their breakup, they eventually move on to other people as their inherent incompatibility is made clear. Ted wants a family, Robin does not. But in the last season, even as Robin marries Barney and Ted meets the mother of his children, the show suddenly changes gears. After Robin's divorce and Ted's wife dying, we are shown Ted going back to Robin after all these years, encouraged by his own children. It's a terrible conclusion, one that ruined Ted's character for good.
Come on, Dad. Mom's been gone for 6 years now. It's time.
Number 3, Jumping the Shark, literally. Happy Days.
Oh, I can't watch. What if he doesn't make it?
Relax. How much can one shark eat anyway?
We have talked a lot about shark jumping moments, and this actual shark jump is why. In this now infamous Happy Days episode, the California kid dares Fonzie to jump over a tiger shark on skis. Fonzie had grown into a fan favorite, with storylines written just for his character as a result of his popularity. But before this moment, Fonzie has never shown the slightest ability for water sports. At best, he's a biker. Switching the setting from diner to beach only made matters worse. It was clearly a case of the creators abandoning character consistency for a memorable moment, but not memorable in the way intended. At least we got a cool new descriptor for bad TV writing.
The Fonz and the California kid are gonna break the tie. They're gonna jump over a shark. Isn't that dangerous?
Well, of course it's dangerous.
Number 2, Deborah in Love with Dexter. Dexter.
If I love you, I went to the church that night that you killed Travis Marshall to tell you that I'm in love with you.
Now, this change is nothing less than bewildering. Deborah Morgan was Dexter's foster sister, loyal, caring, and a great police officer. Both she and Dexter viewed each other's relationship as nothing more than fraternal. But while talking to her psychiatrist about her failed relationships in season 6, Deborah realizes her feelings towards her adopted brother may be less fraternal than she thinks. The rationale doesn't make much sense on the face of it, nor is it psychologically plausible, as the two did grow up together. To make matters worse, Dexter reacts with believable confusion. Of course, he doesn't return Deborah's feelings. Deborah was truly done dirty by this plotline.
Are you gonna say anything?
I'm sorry.
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications.
Number 1, Daenerys burns King's Landing, Game of Thrones. Universally decried as pure character assassination, this show's decision to turn a beloved character to the dark side has to be seen to be believed. Forced into marriage by her abusive brother, Daenerys rose from the ashes, literally, to become a formidable contender for the Iron Throne, freeing slaves and defending the innocent. Despite her occasionally brutal actions, they were not illogical and balanced out with acts of kindness and mercy. The last season of the show, however, showed her out-of-nowhere decision to burn King's Landing. Daenerys' character switch from liberator to tyrant was not well executed, and with her death by Jon Snow, her character is officially assassinated. Thanks, show. Can you think of ways that any ruined characters could have been redeemed? Let us know in the comments below.
And that, kids, is how I met your mother.
Did you enjoy this video? Check out these other clips from WatchMojo, and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.